The reality is the housing market, the rental market is out of control and incredibly expensive. And so then when you think of somebody in that circumstance, 72 years old, she's living in her car. It's cheaper than living in an apartment. Right. Obviously, she's making it work for her. Right. But then the reality, too, of like where, and she didn't talk about this, where's the safe place to park at night? Hello and welcome to the Restorers Podcast. Excited to have you with us again, Ron. These conversations have been so good. I always learn something from you. Today on the podcast, again, we've been looking at some different faces of homelessness and some of the circumstances that our guests have experienced and lived through, and a very real circumstance in our community all over the place. There are people who are sleeping in their car tonight.
Yes.
We know all across Lancaster County. Yes. And we see this especially in more rural areas where this is an option that people are doing. And for a short season, for a long time, people living in their cars because they just can't afford the apartment. The other things have fallen apart. So we're going to talk a little bit about what it's like to live in a car. We're going to hear some stories from some individuals who have experienced that.
When you become homeless, you kind of revert into this solitude. It's humiliating. I find especially the women, we don't say anything to anyone about it. My name is Judith, and I've been living in my car at 72 years old since the end of February. Good morning. I'd like a medium-sized black. Okay. I'm not always this sweet sounding either. It's a facade. It's the first thing I do when I get up and start my day. I go and get a cup of coffee. And then I head across the street to this cemetery and organize my car for the day. Now, St. Mary's Cemetery is a local place where a lot of homeless people come to. I've seen a woman my age who is currently living in the trees over here. I'm a working visual artist. I have been my whole life. Once a woman is single and aging, she has no safety net, none. For the last 5-6 years of my work life, even with my Social Security, I was not able to pay a rent with that combined income.
What were you doing?
I was working as a cashier at the Market Basket. It's not safe living like this when you're older. You have to drive everywhere you need to go. If I'm going to have something to eat, I have to go someplace to get food. If I need to use a bathroom, I have to get in the car and drive someplace. We're at my storage container, and this is where I had the movers bring all of my belongings. A lifetime of work and collecting, and this is it. I kept my drafting table, and I tried to keep it open because I was hoping that maybe I could work a little bit from here, but it's ridiculous, impossible. This is the cabinet where I keep a lot of my stored goods when I'm home. This is my son with his first tuna, and this is my children when they were little. And this is something my daughter made in school. And here's our family portrait. Bye, Steph. Here I am on the Rowley site at apartments.com, and there's one rental available, and it's for $3,500. My budget pushing it is $2,000. No one is moving anywhere because there's no place to move to. Just like crying all the time. It's ridiculous. Just ridiculous. I don't know. I guess I expect more of myself. This is another adventure. I'm just too old for it anymore.
Wow. You're listening to that, and it almost like feels like an adventure. She sounds so hopeful. And then you heard the reality of what she's facing. She has Social Security. She's worked her whole life. Right. Paintings and part-time jobs, and she's got Social Security and was working part-time. She had a no-fault eviction. So it's not because she wasn't paying rent. Right. It's, whatever circumstances, hardship that the landlord was able to claim that allowed him to evict her. And now she's even got a Section 8 voucher. $3,500. And she knows she can only afford $2,000. But here's the reality, right? 72 years old. Fixed income, limited opportunities for more income. She's got a Section 8 voucher to help her with that. And she cannot find housing that she can afford. The reality is, here in Lancaster County, to afford a market rate 2-bedroom apartment, you have to make over $26 an hour.
Yeah. Or in some places even more, Jack.
Yeah. If you're making $15 an hour, which is a good starting wage for a lot of people, you might get but you're going to have to work 60, 80 hours a week in order to afford it.
The housing thing is crazy.
The reality is the housing market, the rental market is out of control and incredibly expensive. And so then when you think of somebody in that circumstance, 72 years old, she's living in her car.
Yeah, and it makes me think of like insurance, gas. Like she has a whole bunch of other probably medical stuff. She got a lot.
There's a lot that like it's cheaper than living in an apartment. Right. Obviously, she's making it work for her, but then the reality too of like where and she didn't talk about this. Where's the safe place to park at night?
Yeah,
where is she doing that? She talks about like going to the cemetery as a place where she can kind of stop, open up,
put
organize it. So obviously, where she's sleeping is not a safe wherever she's found to park and sleep is not a place where she can open up and rearrange her stuff.
Looking for different places every day, every night, man.
And then all those the basic life. Where do you go to the bathroom?
Right.
Where do you find food to eat? What do you do? And so she's got to drive everywhere. She's spending money on gas. She's so she's not saving up to help take that next step. She's surviving. And then like even she's found a water spigot in the cemetery. The innovation and ingenuity and just make it happen because she's trying to survive. I was almost brought to tears at the end of that clip when just the weight and the reality is so real. Like I can't I'm too old for this anymore. Yeah, like 72 years old, and that's where she's at. It is heartbreaking and. Ron, I looked at our numbers the other day. A couple weeks ago, I was in a conversation around seeing more and more older people, and we had over 10% of our guests are over 60 years old, and it's a whole different prospect of how you help somebody.
And guess what, Jack? A lot of them have a physical handicap or a major medical issue.
Judith was healthy.
Yeah,
and
she looked good.
She's
pushing. Yeah, man.
I'm impressed. But go back to that very beginning when she's ordering her coffee and she's like she
let
said,
you know she's not like
I'm
that
not like
all
that.
The time.
I'm putting on a
You're
facade
like
right
that
now.
either.
I'm
You're
being
like
sweet. But for this whole thing, she'd probably say, I don't feel this way. I'm trying to be sweet for this video.
Yeah,
but that's not me.
She's hurting. She put on a mask.
She is hurting right now, and we have so many friends out there who are hurting right now.
Yeah.
Tonight, we're putting a face to the affordable housing issue. Rachel Mills, her husband, and their 3 kids are living in a van this holiday season after getting evicted and not having anywhere else to go. Despite Mills having a job, they aren't able to make rent due to the rising costs. WCNC Charlotte's Lexi Wilson has more on the family struggle.
Today I spoke to a family living in their van with a solution out of reach. They tell me they've been working hard to get housed, but have been met with silence. At a parking lot in Kings Mountain,
everybody's in everybody's space.
This red van is the home of Rachel Mills.
In the back of it is our clothes,
her husband, and their 3 kids. They've been living in their vehicle since September after she says they were wrongly evicted.
I feel like a failure.
These days, Mills feels a sense of hopelessness.
I've never let my kids down like this.
She says the homeless shelters are full, and she's made several calls to housing resources, which have gone unanswered.
I've looked, I've searched, to get nowhere. It's frustrating.
Across our area, there are more people in need of emergency housing than there are beds for them to sleep in. And as home and rental prices remain high, homelessness continues to be a challenge.
Housing is really a building block. It is the basic need that needs to be met in order for individuals to feel stable enough.
Stable enough is what Mills wants.
They've spent their birthdays in this van. My daughter's is next month, and I'll be damned. I don't want to do it again in a van. I don't want to spend Christmas in a van. It's hard.
She's hoping perseverance, hard work, and a little bit of help will provide her family with a better future. Reporting for WCNC Charlotte, I'm Lexi Wilson.
It is a lot. We've seen it here. We've seen it all.
Yeah. One of the things that hits me, as I carve out time each week to pray for our guests, pray for our staff, pray for others. And when I look down the list of women and children in our shelter, right. That's always one of my prayer points for those kids, is that God would somehow protect their hearts and their minds through this season. Yeah. And part of my prayer for their moms is just gratitude that they were willing to take the risk of coming in.
That's right.
That they were willing to find a safe place for their kids and come in and take those steps forward. The reality is, and we see this here in Lancaster, that was a report from Charlotte. One, again, and I said this before, but we'll say it again, like the housing market is killing people right now. It's so hard and to find an affordable place, to keep an affordable place.
And we have a lot of people here who have good income coming in, good residuals, and they just can't, find a place that's affordable. Everything now, I don't like to get into politics or anything, but I believe that a lot of landlords are trying to make up because of the pandemic. They lost so much.
Yeah. Well, there was serious losses.
That's what's going on.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And when you've been destabilized and your savings has been wiped away, almost every landlord or property management company is requiring first month, last month, and a security deposit. Yeah. So you've got to have 3 times the rent in hand when you show up to get your place. So not only do you need to afford $1,500, $2,000 a month, you've got to have $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in your hand to move in.
That's crazy.
And when everything's been stripped away, how do you, when you're living in a car, how are you going to save up?
Yeah.
How are you going to save up when every little thing is costing you?
And then you have kids and you got to take care of them.
Yeah.
But we had a guest here, windows out of her van. Yeah. I don't know if they got busted, but she's here and then she's working on some stuff. But living in there with the kids, it's hard, and they're just reaching out. I applaud the news station for the story.
Yeah, let's raise awareness and say, how can we help as a community?
Yep.
The reality is, even here in Lancaster, where we are blessed and we have resources, and Water Street's been here for 120 years, and we've grown and added more beds, there are more people experiencing homelessness than there are beds available in our shelters, right? Between us, between Clay Street, between Dream Center in Columbia, between the winter shelters, add all those beds up,
and there
full.
are
still more individuals.
That's right.
Our shelter's been full.
We turn away every day, and it's sad when the people don't understand the turn away, because they look at all these buildings, but they don't know all the beds that we have are full.
We continue at Water Street to wrestle with that.
That's right.
What can we do? How we partner with others and help build up resources in the community so that we're not the only ones around. But this reality that people they end up in encampments, they end up in cars, they end up challenging. And we're going to listen to one more story of someone who's, I think, living in their van.
Come on, you stay there.
Mandy relies on nearly $1,100 a fortnight from the disability support pension. But after deductions for unpaid utility bills from her old property, traffic fines, her storage unit, and her mobile plan,
Let's go to bed.
the money goes fast.
Go over. Good boy.
This is what you have left now for
Yes.
13 days.
Yes, yep. That's my 13 days to live off. That's it.
That's $109.
$109.54, yep. So I've got to really budget.
Out here, bedtime comes early. After some time on her devices, alone in a beachside parking lot, it's lights out. Mornings are simple. There's no money for breakfast and no stove for tea. Her first stop today is the food bank.
You start with your fruit and veg, and then once you've sort of got what you need there, then we'll head over to the freezer.
Okay.
Under the rules, visits here are limited. Mandy makes the most of it.
How much is this going to help you?
It's life-changing. This is about a week's worth, like 5 to 6 days worth of food. I was nearly out of food for Diesel, so that big massive bag of dog food that I got for him is a huge, that'll last him a fortnight. Thank you so much.
She doesn't want sympathy, just for the government or anyone to listen.
If I'm speaking for all the other homeless people that I know of, we just need affordable accommodation. It's not asking for much, it's asking for basics, affordable housing. That's all it is.
She still attends open houses for rentals, but with no job and poor references, she can't compete. But she won't give up hope that someday soon, home won't be on four wheels.
Thank God for the pantry.
Yeah.
We have a pantry. Thank God for the pantry. It helps a lot of people.
There's a number in our community, and we know we're serving people to help keep them in their houses, but also we're helping people who are living in their cars and living in other places.
Yeah.
Again, here's a woman who's holding out hope, right? She's holding on hope. And I think that's the common denominator, is that homelessness does not equal hopelessness. How do we come alongside individuals in this situation? I know there are organizations and churches in Lancaster County that have looked into and have explored the idea of, can they be a safe parking site for people to stay overnight? And so that's one solution for those. Again, it's not the best, but it's a step above that uncertainty of, where can I go that's safe? Am I going to be harassed or attacked in the middle of the night? I know that's going through this woman's mind when she's parked in that parking lot all by herself. And so how do we create, just not just the resources to end the problem, but how do we help people on that journey as well? And I think here in Lancaster, that's a question we need to continue talking about together. What's the role that Water Street has to play? What's the role other nonprofits have to play? But what's the role that our churches and individuals can play to help address this?
I don't know if you remember when I got the Isaiah 61 award, I talked about how Water Street is like the spider web, and the web leads out to all these different organizations that we connected with. And, those organizations, like their webs connect. Before you know it, if everybody could get hooked on that web of helping and loving on people.
Absolutely.
I don't think we're going to change the world, but we will change the concept of homelessness.
And again, I think that's the thing. Like, there's a baseline of creating, again, whether it's in a shelter, whether it's in a car, whether it's an encampment, can we create an environment that allows for another level of safety?
That's right.
So that we can begin to address, because it's when safety is the only thing you can think about.
You don't
and where am I getting my next meal? Where am I getting my water
right.
for the day? If that's all that consumes, that'll take up all of our mental energy, and we can't take a next step.
Right.
We can't address what are those other issues that may have led to homelessness that we need to overcome. Right. Here at Water Street in our shelter and residential environment, we can do that. Yeah. Can we do that for others as well? Right. Ron, thanks for being a part of these podcasts. Thanks for your insights, sharing your story along the way. Yeah. Thank you to those who are willing to share their stories for others to hear and understand what's going on. It's a starting point for all of us, is just to understand our neighbors a little bit more, because we are called to love them. And we can't love people that we don't know. We can't love people that we don't understand and aren't willing to get to know. Thank you for listening to Restores Podcast. I hope anytime you've listened, it's been encouraging, it's been insightful, and hopefully you've been inspired to love your neighbor and see restoration in our community.
That's right.
Thank you, Ron.
Bless you, Jack.